Okay, so Sue, I want to thank you for this wonderful idea for this week's topics. So last week we took the quiz, we talked all about the different nutrition plans, programs, kind of supplement programs like Ultimate Reset and 3-Day Refresh and things like that. We talked about all the things, right? Now, what do? We know what plan we want to do, and this is how we're going to merge into that plan in a nice way so that we can get started and feel confident in our starting and start the practice. So what I wanted to go through, Sue found a couple articles on the blog, and I wanted to go through those 2 articles and then, just expand on it, because I know we have all had practice in our first times starting nutrition plans, but then every time after that, right? Like every time we start a new nutrition plan, it's still new. There's still things we do that help us to get ready to set ourselves up for success with that plan. And so we'll just kind of go through those types of things and, kind of get into it so we can take it to the next level. So I'm going to share screen. The first one we're going to talk about is meal planning, because we do want a meal plan so that we can create a good grocery list. If we create a grocery list and then we meal plan, probably missed something, right? Probably left something off the list. So I'm going to share screen and we're going to check out this article. Oh, and now of course I picked the wrong one. Hang on. Hold please. Okay. So how to meal plan for absolute beginners. And really, this is pretty much how to meal plan for everybody. Okay, so look at your lifestyle. I'm so glad they brought this one up, because if you don't like to cook, if you don't have a lot of time for making meals, right? And if you're a person that eats out, that's a different lifestyle than someone that's already cooking, already, making things from scratch or likes to do it, right? So you really have to be real about what your life looks like and what you can implement. It's really difficult to be like, I've got 20 minutes to make dinner, but this recipe is going to take 2 hours, right? You're going to feel like a failure immediately. And we don't want that, right? So really look at what you feel like you can do. And within this, what I think is really important, and I believe it's our next step, start small, right? So like, let's say you don't have a lot of time. If you could just prep breakfast on a Sunday, that's going to get you started. That's going to help you kind of get in that habit, create some meals. You'll have breakfast handled every day. And then maybe after you've done breakfast for a couple weeks, you can be like, okay, well, maybe I'll make a bigger dinner today so I have some lunch for tomorrow. And then you can keep expanding on those things. And the more you practice, just like everything else, right, the better you get at it. So when you're thinking about your lifestyle, think about, what can I realistically start with that's going to help me out right now? And then you can build on it. Now, I know last week we talked about going all in on a meal plan. And I think there's ways to still keep this start small on the meal prep, but going all in on the plan. You can buy things already chopped up. You can buy even prepared meals that fit in the macros and fit in the plan you're using, right, to begin with, so that you can at least get the right food, or I shouldn't say right, but you know what I'm saying, get in the plan. But maybe it's not you cooking everything. And then you can start kind of taking things from there. There's ways to shortcut so that it helps you. But then also add in those times like, okay, what can I just prep myself and do? Okay, so starting small, everybody think about those things. After you've created this, so your plan is pretty much the same as far as like, you're going to need a balance of macros each meal. You're going to need protein and veggies. Most meals will have carbs. That really depends on what plan you're on. But you know what I mean? You're going to have protein and veggies for sure. You'll have some carbs some meals. You'll have some healthy fats some meals. You may throw in some fruit somewhere. And you're filling in the blanks. I think that's why all of it, all the coaches on here enjoy Shakeology. It's our simplest, easiest, no need to think about it meal, right? It covers the plan. We drink it and feel good. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where it's just easy. You blend it and you're done. And so that's where you're filling in the blanks. What can I add into, what can I add into my day that's going to be simple and easy? Where can I have, some of these things that I need? Number 4, this is something I had to learn. Embrace leftovers. Anybody else not a leftover eater before this? I left that up to David. I was like, okay, well, there's some leftovers in there. Good luck. Unless it was restaurant food and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then if he ate it, then it was like, I'd send him a divorce decree because I'm like, you can't eat that. But I wouldn't tell him. So then he'd eat it and not know, it was really good. It's good stuff. Good, healthy relationship with food. So I have learned there are things I still am not crazy about leftover. So I just make sure I make those things fresh, but there's now a ton that are great leftovers. Like I find any of the Indian dishes with sauce, like a tikka masala or that chana masala you made today, Sue, any of those types of saucy things, you throw them on, some rice cauliflower or some brown rice, whatever you've got, right? It's gonna, all that stuff reheats well and is delicious the next day. So, know kind of what you're going to really eat because you don't want to be wasteful on the food, but also think about how can I maybe double this recipe that I really enjoy so I can have a couple lunches out of it. I know when we all did the meal prep class, I always laugh. Every Sunday night, I kind of laugh at myself because I've spent the morning making these great recipes in the meal prep class. And by dinner, everybody in my household has sampled everything. And I'm like, I don't have anything left for tomorrow, people. So yeah, but it's a good thing, right? I had to feed them at some point anyway. And so they enjoyed it. So that's good. We're branching out. All right. So keep it simple. This is definitely something we have talked about in our nutrition chat and in the group before. Especially if you're following Portion Fix or Gut Protocol, I fill those containers first, right? Just fill the container, make it into a bowl, put some dressing on it, call it a day. I don't try to out the gate start with recipes. And I really don't try to take my recipes and containerize them. Because then it's like my head's just spinning. Even now, sometimes I'm kind of like, I'm not really quite sure how that recipe is going to work out. So I really focus in on just getting those basics, right? Following whatever the plan says and filling it with an item. The food lists are great. This is a perfect picture of this, right? You've got salmon for a couple days on some brown rice with some vegetables. Throw some aminos on there or some type of, you could use your miso ginger dressing on that, make it a bowl and you're good to go. All right. And then last one, assemble your list, which is what we're going to talk about next. So I'm not going to use this article, but I will put it in here, let's copy it and paste it and put it in the thing if you guys want to look at it at the same time. And then I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so there's the next article. I just put this in my notes because we can just kind of talk freestyle about this one. This article doesn't have quite as much detail. There is a nice start to like pantry basics. So if one of the things I know, and maybe we can throw it in the chat too. Of course, Bev, you're cooking. Don't worry about it. There's the kind of basics list we created with the Gut Protocol. Like as you start meal planning and as you start creating grocery lists, you'll find there's just things that you always have, right? Like brown rice is one of those things I always have. Rice cauliflower. I always have shrimp in my freezer. There's almost always chicken of some sort in my freezer. Those are things you can just quickly take out, use, you're gonna need it. So as you're going through this meal planning, if you like, if those things usually just kind of stay in my head and I automatically get them at the grocery store. But if they don't, create yourself like a master list of things that you just want to make sure you have on hand, that you can make multiple things out of. So that way you're not stuck with just, I have no idea what to do. I can't get to a store and I don't know what to make with this stuff, right? Okay, so let's talk about creating a grocery list. It's really great to go with a list, and I usually use just my notes section of my phone. So as you're going through your meal planning, right, you've found these great meals you want to make, you're writing this stuff down. And as you have this list, you will find you don't deviate from the list as much as if you'd gone to the store and you just buy whatever you see, right? When you have a list, you're like, okay, I need to get these things on the list. And that really helps you to not just grab whatever. And especially don't go when you're hungry, because then it's like your hands get extra grabby on things that maybe look really good in the moment. And then you get them home and you're like, yeah, do I really need to have those things? Probably not.
Or try not to go with your kids too.
Or don't go with your kids. Yes. Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, Jack.
Because they love the junk food.
Exactly. He always gets on me because he's like, Mom, we don't have anything like ready to eat. And I'm like, yeah, we have a house of ingredients. So this is where you learn to be creative and start learning to cook, because this is how it's going to go here.
Yeah.
So make sure you are those two things. Try to go with a list if at all possible, even if I just jot down a few things that are on my mind, because I now have that brain where like I'm, in the next room and I've forgotten what I was going to add to the list. Right. So just write it down quick. Like during the week, we were out of onions a couple days ago. So I started a list on my phone just to be like, okay, we're going to need onions at some point. Somebody said we were out of ketchup, whatever it was. I like to look at the sales ad before I meal plan. I like to see what's on sale for the week, see what's also in season, right? And so if there's a grocery store that you frequent or a farmer's market or anything like that, if you know things that are going to be coming up for the time, then I would definitely check that out first before you decide on your recipes. And sometimes it kind of spurs some ideas, like if you see something on sale and you're like, oh yeah, I could make that recipe. So I look at what's on sale. Now, let's say I see chicken breasts are on sale and I'm super tired of the way I've been making chicken breasts. Then I will then take chicken breasts, plug it into the BOD app, and I'll look up some recipes. And and then I can find a new recipe, or go to the blog and you can find a new recipe to make. Give a little excitement. Okay, you go sit somewhere else. Okay. She doesn't want to. Oh, that's a good idea, Sally. So and so you can both add to the list.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And then, okay, so you looked at your sales ad, start looking for recipes to make, right? Start adding that to your list, then add in your staples, the things that you're going to need. Make sure you check to your spice rack. Are there any spices you need? And then when you're at the store, stick to the perimeter as much as possible, because that's where all the food is that should make up the majority of your list anyway, right? The vegetables, the fruits, the meat, the dairy. What else is on the perimeter? And then, well, now there's a lot of pre-made food on the perimeter if you have deli sections in your grocery store. But the middle tends to be where we have the more processed things. Oh, thanks, Bev. So that's Bev's list from when we were doing gut protocol and really just her grocery list in general. So that can be a great start. If there's things on there that you enjoy, keep them. If there's things you're like, no way, take them off. Start, kind of use it as a base to you can make a master list for yourself. And then let's see here. I think I only have one more. Oh, if if going to the grocery store leads to lots of impulse buying, consider having your groceries delivered. I know, I don't know
Mhm.
what it is now because I haven't done it since we were all shut down, but even at that time, it was $3.95 to get them delivered. If I picked like a day ahead. So if you have that option and it's reasonable, that can be a really great way to stick to your list too. And make sure that you're not grabbing those extra things, and maybe a time savings for you. You know, you can all of a sudden it shows up at your door and you can, you'd be prepping something else while you're waiting for groceries to come or whatever. It can be a good time savings, and then you can put that time to better use. So what else, what would you say have you found helps you with your grocery list and grocery shopping? Did I miss anything?
So for me, I usually try to look to see what I already have in my house. And then I look at recipes and go, oh, that sounds good. I've already got chicken. I've already got rice. I might just need a can of tomatoes or something. And then I create my list that way.
I love that idea. We're actually working through some of our freezer food right now.
Mhm.
And it's been really funny because I'm like, I don't even know. Like I found some chili not that long ago, and I'm like, I don't even know how long that's been in there. It ended up being really good, but I'm like, I don't know when I put that leftover in there, but it's time to clear some things out. So yeah.
Right.
So a random thing that I've started doing, is, like you said, not knowing when you put it in. I just have a Sharpie in the kitchen now, and I just write the date that I first open it, like straight on the container, because it's for, I mean, it's for us. We're not like a Better Homes and Gardens house where someone's gonna walk in and need to see. But that has been so helpful, especially with stuff you don't use all the time, like maybe the salsa. So I either write it on the lid or write on front of it. So
That's a great
that's
idea.
been very
Just writing,
helpful.
yeah, just writing it when you open it, so you know when you opened it. And you probably could even write on the glass, like I use glass, what do you call it, containers to store in the freezer. If I wrote on it before what it was on the side, I'm sure that would come off with something. I would think. I don't know. I don't know what takes Sharpie off glass.
You can write on glass with Sharpie. It just comes off with like a wet paper towel.
Perfect. So it'd probably like come off when it thaws out automatically almost.
A piece of duct tape is good too, or tape,
Yeah.
tape.
And really, I think with all of this, the big thing is, this doesn't have to be all at once. You've created all of this, right? These are like stepping stones, and maybe each week you get a little better with your list, or each week you get a better with your meal planning. So don't feel like you have to step into every single meal is planned for next week, and I have the perfect grocery list and I didn't forget a thing. It's, let's get our lunches planned this week, and then let's add a dinner in next week plus the lunches. Whatever feels like something you can do, that's what you do, and then we build on things. Anybody have anything they want to add to either thing, meal planning or grocery?
I think keeping it as simple as possible, it definitely goes a long way. Because if you do try to complicate things too early, or just anytime, Lily, you've talked about going and getting rotisserie chickens and bags of vegetables and then making your dinners that way. I think that makes it really simple. So keeping it as simple as possible.
Yeah, and there shouldn't be any feeling of like that you're not doing enough with that, right? That's plenty.
Mhm.
The fact that you did that versus, I don't know why Timber needs to sit with me tonight. The fact that you've done that is all you need to do, right? Like you, and so I hope people don't feel like, well, if I buy vegetables already cut up, that's cheating or something. There is no cheating. You're making this fit into your lifestyle and work for you.
Well,
So-
and frozen vegetables can be a way to save money too.
Oh,
So,
yeah, and they're actually generally have more nutritional value because they're frozen at the peak of ripeness versus, our fresh vegetables are, picked and then have to be distributed.
I think she thinks you're playing with her.
She does.
Yeah.
Super annoying. She usually does not even sit around me during this.
Did she not get attention
Yeah,
today?
and I appreciate what you just said about the frozen vegetables, because I think they get a bad rap. So,
They do get a bad rap.
So-
Yeah, definitely. And it's, all of that is good. I mean, I don't know, there are some maybe canned that I don't know how the nutrition changes with a canned vegetable, but they're all like, really, if you're entering more vegetables into your life, go with it. You know what I mean? It's not like that's a bad thing.
Well, and on my list, I have organic blueberries and organic strawberries. I rarely buy those fresh. Because.
Yeah.
I mean, they go bad so fast. Generally, I mean, unless I'm going to be using them for something very specific, I would prefer to get my fruit frozen too. Like I don't get apples frozen or oranges frozen, but like berries a lot of times. Sometimes pineapple. But we do pretty much get a pineapple like every single week and cut that up because Jacob eats that. So but yeah, that and cherries and I don't know. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I buy the fruit and then it just goes bad. It's like, well, then buy it frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Costco has a big bag of berries that are yummy in my shake. That's one of that and frozen mango. So, and they never go bad.
Well, good. All right. Well, it's like short topic tonight. I don't have to yap. I feel like I yapped at everybody a whole hour last time. So let everybody else talk today. So how's everybody doing? I mean, I know January can feel like you're supposed to do all the things, but really you're supposed to be doing whatever you're doing. So just like keep progressing. That's the point. Not feeling like you should be here or you should be doing this. How is everything going with you now? And how can we help?
I was doing awesome until my husband brought home the heart chocolates from Whitman's.
Do I need to text Aaron to be like,
How
Where-
were they?
yeah.
I had one last night.
was he
No,
being
I'm
all
not-
romantic? Like Valentine's Day is coming up. Here's some chocolate.
Uh,
Yeah.
Here you
yeah.
go, honey.
Yeah, he was being all sweet. Yeah. Yeah, so I had one coconut. It was good. Again, all in moderation.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. That reminds me, that call that somebody put it in the nutrition chat,
The-
right?
The sweet one.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
so good. I highly recommend listening to it if you haven't. And that reminds me, so if you're in our chat, if you go up to the dots, you can go to the section that says links, media. There might be a third option. And you can see every picture, link, thing someone has added to that chat. So when you're so like if somebody like put the link for that call, right? Let's go in here. Is it not in the dots? Where am I looking here? Oh, no,
on
it's
the phone.
It's up
If
at
you
the
hit the
top.
name of the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go down and it says more actions, view media, files, and links. And then, so like, there's all the pictures everyone's added. If we hit links, here's all the links. So recipes, all the things people have added. So if there's something you saw, but you didn't quite catch it to where you saved it somewhere, that's what you can do in both the virtual gym and in the nutrition chat to go find some past information.
So what's that? That it was about sweets?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was about sugar, like our desire to have treats and sweets.
Yeah. That's my, I'm horrible. Like Lindt
Me
chocolate,
too.
Yeah,
like-
it was a great chat because it's not they're not saying don't have it. They're saying have it in moderation, right? I mean, there is a level of control with it. You don't want to feel out of control with it. But it's also about like framing it in a more nutritious way. So if you have a sweet that also has fiber with it or other nutrients, it's going to take your body a second to digest it, and it's going to get some benefits from it. So you get that sweet hit, like when you have Shakeology, you get that sweet hit, like that enjoyment of something sweet,
Mhm.
but you also have nutritional value to it, and you can feel full from it. Because sometimes when you have like just something sugary, you're not feeling full from it either.
Oh,
Right.
no, not
You-
full at all.
Yeah,
So
you just
need
want to keep
more.
going. Exactly.
So wait, so if I put peanut M&Ms on my sweet potato,
there you go.
I'm golden, right?
You've created a new dish.
Oh my God, that's gonna be wonderful.
Sue, are you pregnant?
No, yeah, right. No.
Can you post that link in this chat? Because I
Yeah.
didn't see that link.
Well, and Joy, I don't think you're in the nutrition chat either. So let me just add you in there really quick.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you. That's my biggest.
Yeah,
like,
I need to listen to that too.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah,
Very-
it's really good.
Deanna?
And it was only like 20 minutes.
Oh, that's not
Oh.
bad.
You know, it's interesting when you look at all the pictures of the food and stuff that we've posted in this thing. It looks so good.
I
There's
know.
so many great
We have so
recipes
many pretty foods.
that people have made. So if you're ever looking for an idea for something to make, just go to these pictures.
Yeah,
get
and
it
I've been trying to
seriously.
post the recipes when we do it too. That way, yeah, everybody can see what it is.
Wait a minute, was the link actually shared or was it just a picture of it?
No, it's just a picture. I'm gonna go try
Yeah.
to.
Oh, okay. I got
Okay.
the link right here, Lily. I just
Oh.
put it in
Oh,
here.
okay.
But we,
And
all
I'll
I
put
thought I
the
was
link
losing
in
it.
the nutrition chat too.
right, you're adding it? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just a picture. I was just going to find it.
Perfect. Thank
Ugh.
you. Because now I can listen to this
Yeah,
tonight.
it was just really I mean it's all the stuff we talk about in general, right? Just in living your life and enjoying your life. I mean, I think if someone told you could never have sugar ever again, it'd be really painful and sad, and I don't know, you'd also really want the sugar, right? I mean,
I
like
don't know, but would
somebody
we?
tells me I can't ever have something again, I'm like, well, now I want it. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
and so it's really about making choices. And that the other part I loved, they did not call it the JJ dating method, but they certainly covered it. And it's all about how you get that hit when you have those first few bites, first 2 bites, say, but then maybe that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th bite, it's not the same like level of, oh, this is so good. Right? It's just kind of like, okay, I'm still eating the same thing. It might be good, but you're not getting that kind of elated first bite. And so what JJ talks about is you're dating a dessert, right? So you go on your first date, which is your first bite. And you're like, okay, do I want a second date? Right? Do I want that second bite? And then maybe after the second date, you're like, yeah, I'm good. That was great. I enjoyed it. The 2 bites were good. Maybe you're like, I want to marry this dessert and I'm having it all. And that's fine too. Like maybe it's amazing. So it's kind of it's okay to stop after the first date, the second date. And I think sometimes too, depending on how you feel about your food and how you grew up with food, likely, if you have to finish something. So if that's a thing, then, this is a chance for you to be like, I'm just gonna date this dessert. We're not committed. I don't have to finish it if I don't enjoy it or like, I mean, one bite's good, it's good. And be okay with it. I've been dating.
You said that during the holidays, we were in a lot of dessert filled places and I would take one bite and say, hey, this isn't worth it. And then I would keep chatting as if nothing was happening and slip it over on my husband's plate. He didn't really love that, but I did it a lot.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, just kind of slide it to your husband. Just be like, here you go.
Yeah, because I didn't want to waste it, didn't want to throw it away, didn't want to eat it. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I think I'm married to these JJ balls. I just made them again. So they're
They
okay.
are-
Let me tell you. Okay, so if you're in the nutrition chat, you've seen a bunch of us made them. So they're whatever kind of Shakeology you want. I'm using the caramel brownie right now. A banana that's mashed up. Mine have been pretty ripe. And then just mix that together, form a ball, put your thumb in the middle of it and add a little peanut butter to the center. And then you refrigerate or freeze to kind of have them all solidify. So I did a scoop and a half or a packet and a half today, and the texture is perfect.
Perfect.
So I think it really depends on the size of your banana, right?
Mhm.
And mine have all been pretty medium, but it was still just too loose. So if when in doubt, just add a little more Shakeology if your ball is getting too loose. And I didn't over stir. I just let it come together. And then I'd kind of see where it was at, how wet it felt. And then I'd add some more and just kind of let it come together. So that's my tips on the JJ balls.
On balls. They are good, aren't they?
They're really good and they're so simple that like, it's just nice to have, like, I've had like one a day and it's just super simple and it's not a lot, but it's enough to like have and enjoy.
That's me with desserts anymore. It's like, I just want that little piece and then it's like we can make a cake, everybody has a little piece and then nobody wants any more.
Yeah,
So it'll sit there for a week and then end up being thrown out.
right. All right. Well, does anybody have anything you want to discuss tonight? Any labels you want to look at?
Don't have any labels. One of the things
Yeah,
I
don't
learned
either.
when eating dessert is to get rid of your fork because then you can't keep eating it. And
True,
so
true.
usually if my husband is done, I'll put my fork on his plate because I don't want to pick it up and lick it off and then stick it in whatever dessert I'm eating. So
Yeah.
that's another way. If you don't have a fork, you can't really eat it. So
Or you're gonna look kind of funny.
yeah.
You can. You just it might not be appropriate if you're out in public. to be licking
Oh, you
your-
mean licking the plate isn't very
just
appropriate?
lifting it up and going for it.
Scooping it in.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know.
I've been having so much
Now
fun.
we can describe it's okay, we're married.
I've been really having so much fun with these Shakeology recipes though, like the eat more dessert recipes. It's been really fun.
Mhm.
Did
I
I
made
see you made the ice cream?
I did. I
one?
made the
How was
cookies and
that?
creamy nice cream. It was really good. And so I could have eaten it right away, but I had planned to eat it later. So that was half a banana, 1 packet of Shakeology, and it called for a tablespoon of almond milk, and I ended up doubling that. Cause I
okay.
I sent it through the blender first. And then I was like, this just doesn't seem like it's quite going to be wet enough. And so I just put a little more in and it came out great.
And then you froze it. How long did you?
I just
freeze
stuck it,
for?
yeah, I stuck it in a bowl and I put it in the freezer and I had it like an hour later. But it was
Okay.
already, it was like a soft serve texture when I
Mhm.
got it out of, so you could have just eaten it then. Cause with the banana, it kind of all holds together,
Mm.
pretty good. But it was
Gotcha.
super good. And I put some cocoa nibs on top.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I did the chicken parmesan meatloaf, which Jack called chicken cake. Made me laugh so hard. So I made the fixate marinara, which is actually the first time I've ever made the marinara. Because I usually just make my own recipe. And then so I made that. You use some of that in with the ground chicken, some seasonings, some cheese, and then you put it in your loaf pan and then some more sauce on top and some cheese. And it's even really good left over. It was really good.
Hmm.
So if you're a meatloaf fan, highly recommend. If meatloaf is suspect for you, this is going to be meatloaf. So
Mm.
it's a texture thing, or you know what I mean? I know, because I'm a little borderline. Like I like a good meatloaf, but I don't make it hardly ever here. Like I've had it sometimes, but not a lot. But I was
Yeah,
wondering,
that's for us, meatloaf's one of those things. You have to find the right one and then trying to find what we can use in it, instead of panko or breadcrumbs.
well, I'll tell you what I do. I did follow this recipe where I did an egg because I don't normally eat egg. And it had panko. Normally I would shred a medium zucchini and that's what I make my meatballs with. So I put zucchini in with the ground meat and that's how I make meatballs instead of panko and egg crumbs. And they stay moist. And then, whatever seasonings you want, like I'll add, like red pepper sometimes too, but that shredded zucchini, and I squeeze it first. You don't want it
Yeah.
too bad, otherwise your meatballs are going to be a mess, but it works really well in kind of holding that moisture in and holding everything together. So you can do that too.
Yeah, because
The
we do,
last-
and sometimes we do it like when we make stuffed cabbage,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
filling is the rice and the meat. Sometimes
Yep.
we do the rice and the meatloaf.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, rice. And then riced cauliflower is also a really good option. You can use that in a meatball or meatloaf or, anything, a burger, any of that.
yeah, I
kind
know.
of
When I was thinking, when I was going to say that, I'm like, if that's what popped into my head. It's like we should try it with the cauliflower.
Yeah.
We've been doing that a lot lately with the taco meat. We did like we do loose meat, hamburger sometimes in pita, which I don't do the pita, but we added the rice cauliflower into it.
I love it.
So
The last time I made meatloaf or something, I used quinoa because I had
Oh,
extra
yeah.
quinoa. So I used that instead of breadcrumbs, and it held together.
So it was already cooked,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. You didn't put it in raw. All
No,
right.
no, it was already
Yeah.
cooked.
Yeah. Because I suppose if you had some moisture in there, you could do it uncooked, but I don't even know what that ratio would be.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to chance it because
Right.
then that would be kind of hard and
Yeah.
so. But yeah, it was already cooked, and I just had some, so I'm like, oh, I'll just skip some of this in there instead.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Love it. All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about? I can take us offline. Everybody can get the attachments and stuff. Oh, I should say before we go totally offline too, Lily and I are putting together a free nutrition group. It's open to anyone and it's going to have great tips about, just getting started with things. We'll probably actually put some of the tips we talked about today in there. But also just some tips on getting started. We're going to talk about the different nutrition plans. So if you also have people that are like wondering how you're eating, what you're doing, it's a great group to invite to. It's just going to be that Monday through Friday. Plus then we have the Sunday meal prep. It'll start on the 30th. Is that right? Is that Monday?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it'll start on Monday, the 30th. We'll go through the week with tips, recipes, ideas on, how to kind of get started with nutrition. Because I think this topic tends to be a little bit scary, because you feel like, okay, I just have to eat lettuce and butterfly wings now, that I'm on a nutrition plan, and that's just not the way it works. And so this group will be kind of introducing the fact that we're fueling, we're putting in, lots of nutritious foods so that our bodies run well. And then we'll end it with a meal prep class on that Sunday that everybody's invited to. And then see if everybody wants to start on some nutrition plans. And then Sue has a ultimate reset group. If somebody wants to do the ultimate reset starting on the 6th, that's going to be a great group. And so you can check that out too. And so meal prep on the 5th.
How do we get invited to that thing that you and Lily are doing?
Yeah, anybody can come to that. Anybody come on into the group. Just check with your coach. They'll get the link. I just put the group itself in with all the coaches. So all the coaches have access now. And it's open to everybody. And, bring your friends and hang out for the week with us. We'll have some good tips and recipes and lots of fun.
Fun time.
We want to make nutrition less scary.
Yeah, I know I'm looking for all the nutrition booze I can get. I kind of wavered and wafted in December and January.
Happens to the best of us, but you're here now. That's the important part. And then let's see. We've got one more. What's the tomorrow? Oh, it's rainbows tomorrow. Any kind of bright colors, rainbows.
Okay.
Tomorrow for Funky Friday. All right. Well, hit the pause here. Where is it?
Take a picture.
Yes. Seriously, it's like it just says end.